Hey everyone, it's Rashida A. Marshall. Thank you so much for jumping into another workout with me. Today we're going to be taking it through a balance, sculpt, and tone routine. So all you'll need are some light weights. I have some 1-pound dumbbells here and a mat, which we'll bring into the picture a little later. So we're going to start with a standing warm-up. You can sit your weights off to the side, find yourself in an upright standing position, and then on our inhale, we're going to float those arms up overhead and then exhale as they melt down by the side. And again for 2, big inhale lift, and exhale as they melt down. So let's take it through 3 more, really getting a nice stretch all the way through the fingertips. Last 2, inhale, lift, arms float overhead, exhale as they release. And here's your last one. From here, we're going to add a squat into that motion. So as you exhale, you find yourself in a scoop, and then big inhale as the arms lift. And again for 2, pressing back on the heels in that squat and lift. And 3, really keeping the chest lifted as you go through this. And then let's take it through 1 more, big float up. Our next one brings us into a lateral stretch as we fold over to one side. And then exhale down, inhale, big lift, arm up to the side. So as you stretch to that high diagonal, maybe that leg on the opposite side lifts up onto the toes so that you can get a nice stretch throughout the side body. And we keep our flow as we take it from left to right, really getting that nice stretch. Let's take it through 1 more to each side. And then we finish up here as we take that final stretch. Coming back into that scoop, and then bring both arms overhead as we take it into a lateral stretch and hold it here to one direction, maybe tugging on that wrist slightly, and then moving over to the other direction. Now we're going to bring ourselves back through center, turn all the way to that other side or that first side. Take a nice reach as you fold and then melt down into a lunge here as we twist, turning toward that bent knee, and then we lower that arm. And again for 2, big inhale lift and exhale lower. Let's take it through 1 more as you float the arm overhead. Drawing it back down, we turn to face the front, and then we're going to take it into a side lunge, just holding it here, getting a nice inner thigh stretch on that lengthened leg. And then we bring ourselves back in through center and round back up to standing, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then let's take those arms up overhead. We turn to the other direction, reach out in front, big stretch. And then from here, we'll melt ourselves down to the ground, bending that front leg. And then we take our twist as we fold towards that bent knee. And again for 2, inhale, lift, and release. Last one as you take that stretch. And then we melt down, turning through the front here, holding that side lunge again. Nice inner thigh stretch along the lengthened leg. And then let's lift back up through center, rounding yourself back up to standing. Let's swivel those feet in. We're going to take it into some marching in place. So we lift the arms overhead, begin to draw the knees up as we bring the hands down to meet that leg there in center. Really making sure that you're keeping core engagement as we go through all these warm-up movements, all these stretches and exercises that we're going to get in today. Continuing your flow of the breath. And then as we finish here, we take it into some leg swings. I'm turning to the side so you can get a good idea as to what you want to be doing with that leg. Really keep the chest lifted, finding a nice flow of the arms to help keep you balanced as you reach forward for the toes, getting a nice stretch and release throughout the legs and the hip flexors here. And then we turn over to the other side, same exact thing, find your balance. Feel free to hold on to something as you go through this if that assists with the movement as a whole. And then we bring ourselves back in through center. We're going to take it into some shoulder rotations here as we draw the shoulders up, around, and back. And then we reverse as we take it around here. It's getting a nice squeeze of the shoulder blades. Draw those shoulders up to the ears and then down and around. And then we're going to sweep the arms forward and back as we finish our warm-up, just making sure that those muscles are loose, that the body is warm and ready to go. Get a nice release. And then from here, let's go ahead and get ready to get started. So we're going to start with some squats and some frontal raises. So you can grab onto your weights. You're going to find yourself in a wide stance position. Turn those toes out to the side as though you were in a plie-like position. Palms are facing in center. And then you're going to inhale, take that squat, float the arms in front. Exhale, come up to standing. So really finding that nice control of the movement. Arms come to shoulder height. And we're on 5 here. Exhale, press to standing. Really feel inner thighs working as you work in this wide stance. Let's take it through 3 more. And then last one as we take that squat and come up. Now on our next one, coming in a little closer with the feet, we're going to add a releve. As you come in, press onto the toes and curl. And again for 2. We lift and curl. So adding that work of the biceps in as well here. Getting that balance work in early. Really controlling your movement. Again, core is engaged as you go through this so you can stay centered. Imagine lifting through the crown of the head every time you press onto the balls of the feet. Let's take it through 4 more. Great control. Last 2. As we take it down, lift and curl. Last one. And now we're going to go ahead and take it into an extended hold of our releve as we press the arms overhead. So we take that squat, come up, curl, and press. And again for 3. Really keeping the upper arms hugged into the rib cage as you go through this. And then again here for 5. Staying lifted on the feet as you press the arms up overhead. We have 5 more. Keep your control, keep your flow, and really think about your breath as well as we inhale, come up, and as we exhale, we are taking those arms overhead. All right, just a few more reps here, so keep that flow as you go through these final few. As you curl and lift. And now we're going to turn the palms to face the ceiling, adding some pulses in here. Find your press onto the toes. We press down, and then again for 2. And then on 3, we pulse. 2, 3, and lift, and lower the heels. And again, find your lift. We lift and lower for 2. And 3, and we pulse. Hold, and press up. Lower the heels. And again for 3. Find your releve. We lower down for 3. And 2. We hold it here on that last one for 3, 2, 1, and come all the way back up. Lower the heels. Let's keep moving through this. Keep your control. Feel free to keep your heels lower down if you find that works a little better for your control. And we pulse 3, 2, 1, and lift. Just a few more here. Keep that work. Maybe bringing the feet in a little closer as you saw that I just did if it helps for you to control the movement. Pulse. 2, 1, and we're up. And then we hold it on this last one for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we lift. Go ahead and bring the feet back into center, maybe shaking them out here as I'm doing to release any tension as we begin to move into our next combo. So we're going to turn to the side. We have some lunges with some rear delt movements. So you're going to press back on one leg as you draw those arms up, squeeze, and then fold into a single leg deadlift. And again, we press back into that lunge. Come to center, reach the arms out as one leg reaches behind you. So we're sticking to the same leg. The same one that steps into your lunge is the one that lifts as you take that fold. And reach. And again here, keeping the chest lifted in that lunge. Upper body and lower body move kind of like a seesaw as you take that fold. Softly bending that standing leg if that helps for you to stay balanced. Reaching the arms out in front in opposition to that leg that's reaching behind you. So let's keep moving through here as you fold and reach. And we're out. We're almost through. Just a couple more reps here. Lift and fold through center. Now as we finish here, we're going to find ourselves continuing to work on that standing leg. Let's take the moving leg, and we're going to bend the knee, bring the sole of the foot to face the ceiling as we press up, lower that knee, and again. So imagine stamping the ceiling or the sky with the sole of the foot. We have 3 more here. For 2, we hold it up on our last one as we pulse to the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down. Go ahead and give that standing leg a nice shake. I know we all felt it there. And we're going to turn to the other side, starting from the top with those lunges and those rear delts. So opposite leg is going to step back behind us now. As we squeeze shoulder blades, come back to center, fold forward, floating the arms out in front. And for 2. And lift. And again for 3, press back into that lunge, come to center, and reach arm and leg in opposite direction. Again, chest stays lifted, core is engaged, you're controlling that move. The goal is to come as close to parallel, but find a distance that allows for you to control this move. So you don't have to lift that leg up high, you don't have to come close towards the ground. As long as you have stability in that standing leg. Again, soft bend in the knee if that helps. All right, we just have a few more as we finish up here. Lift to center and fold. And again, coming up and take that fold forward, reaching the leg behind you. Now let's go ahead and find our balance again, resting the hands on the standing leg. That moving leg is behind us, sole of the foot up toward the ceiling as we squeeze and lift. And again for 3. And for 5, really staying controlled here. Last 4. And 3. 2. And 1, we hold it and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down with control, come out of that fold, and then again, shake out that standing leg. Good work. Now we're going to grab our mat. So you see I'm getting mine set up here. Go ahead and get yours close by if you don't already. Getting it set up, and we're going to start standing at the edge of our mat. Take a nice forward fold down, bringing the palms to meet the mat, and then walk yourself out into a plank position. Once you find yourself here, we're going to take it into a pike-like motion as you use lower abs to lift the hips and then press back into your plank. So we're coming into our downward dog or similar, close to it, and then use the core to control you back into your plank position. And then again for 4. Now on the next ones, if you'd like, you can join me by doing it with one leg, same movement, challenging the exercise by floating one off of the mat. Feel free to keep both legs down. And again, we exhale, lift, inhale, find that plank. We're going to lower that leg and switch if you are doing one leg, evening it out with 4 on the other side. And again for 2. Drawing the shoulders back over the wrists, and again for 3. Finishing that last one. We bring it back to center, lower that leg, and then we're going to bring it back to our plank and begin to draw opposite knee to elbow. So keeping that strong plank as you hold it here, making sure that you don't let those hips lift to the ceiling. I know the arms are probably feeling it, the core is feeling it, but continue to find that control as we go through this. And then as we finish, we lower those knees, untuck the toes as we press back and take a quick child's pose stretch. And we're going to come out of our child's pose and find ourselves on all fours for some abduction work. So go ahead and bring one of your weights close. We're going to be using it for the first few movements here. And we're going to do an opposite arm and leg reach to get us set here. So I'm going to start with my right leg behind me, and then that left arm lengthens out in front to get you set. Take an inhale here, exhale, arm and knee to center, and then sweep the arm and leg out to the side, and then you find your flow. And sweep out to the side. And again, exhale to center, inhale, lift, arms go out and in. So the goal here, try to really keep the arm and leg at the same height as you go through the movement. They're going to want to sink down, so just really work with that control to keep them at the same height the whole way through. Making sure to not get into the arch of the lower back as you take that leg out behind you. As we draw elbow and knee in. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and lower that arm down, rest the weight. Let's just work on that leg now as we bend the knee in through center. We're going to take it out to the side, kick that leg out, bend the knee and lower. And again for 2 as we lift, extend, bend, and return to center. And for 3. and lower down. And again for 4. Again, finding your control, no arch in the back. Find a height that works for you and try to stick with that the whole way through. We have 2 more here. And then on this last one, after you take that leg back in, stay lifted, we pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that knee down, press back on that hip, get a nice stretch there. And then as we come out of that, we're going to bring ourselves back up onto all 4s and then take it over to the other side. Same exact thing. So bringing your weight along with you. And then let's start first with that opposite arm and leg reach. So finding your control there. I'm taking my left leg out. That right arm is out in front. Inhale, exhale, elbow and knee in center. We lift, sweep them out to opposite sides, and then we find our flow as we move through that. Again, arm and leg at that height. Body is steady, making sure the shoulder is over the wrist of that arm that's planted down, hip over the knee of that leg that's lowered. Really controlling your move here, working with your breath. All right, just a few more as we draw the into center, lengthen, sweep out to the side and back. And as we finish that last one, we go ahead and bring it back to center, lower that hand and the weight, bending that knee into center. And then let's go ahead as we take it out to the side with the bent knee, extend, bend, and then bring it back to center. And for 3. Lengthen that leg, bring it back and release. And again for 4, so really finding your control. All right, we have just a few more here. And let's finish off our last one. We keep that leg lifted and pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down, press back on the hip, and get that stretch. All right. And now we're going to bring ourselves into some side plank combos. So you're going to turn to the side, come down onto your forearm. That knee that's on the same side is also down. Chest open to the front. Let's work with that top leg as we inhale, flex, and lift. Exhale, point to lower. Really controlling that lift up. And for 4, 5. Bringing that top palm down to press into the mat if that helps keep you steady. Let's do 2 more here. And then on that last one, we stay lifted and pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg. Slide that bottom leg from under you, and then we take it into hip dips. Feel free to just hold the hips up. Maybe that knee stays down and you just hold your plank as we finish there, and then lower the hips down. Let's press ourselves all the way up and come into a nice mermaid stretch very quickly there as we reach that arm up to the high diagonal. And then we're going to switch over to the other side. Same exact thing. So find yourself down on the forearm. Bottom leg is bent with the knee down, chest open to the front. We float that top leg up on our inhale, exhale, point to lower. And again for 2. And 3. So as we work through that movement of the leg, the upper body is staying pretty steady. Again, you're staying open to the front. That top shoulder is not rolling down towards the mat. All right, finishing our last few of those leg lifts, and we pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg, bottom leg lengthens if it feels comfortable, moving into those hip dips, lifting to the ceiling. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that hip down. Find yourself in that nice staggered seating position as we come into our mermaid stretch, reaching that arm up and over. And now from there, we're going to turn ourselves into a seated position, and we're going to bring ourselves down onto our back. So grab onto those weights. We're going to get ourselves set as we recline. Arms are up over the chest for our bridge work. As we press the hips, arms open out to the side as we add a chest fly into our motion here. And again for 3. And press the hips as we take the arms out and lower down. And exhale, lift, take those arms out and into center. So really controlling this lift as well, making sure that the feet stay rooted down. Really feel yourself engaging the hamstrings. And then as we finish that last one, we're going to go ahead and add a tricep movement to the exercise. So arms are up over the chest, press into your bridge. We bend the elbows, lengthen the arms, lower the hips. And again for 3. Bend, extend, and release. And down. So really pressing up on that exhale, arms bend and lengthen, and then we release. Nice flow. And as we go through any of these, feel free to keep the arms down by the side if that helps for you to control the movement and get more out of it instead of adding the extra components. So whatever feels best for you. We're finishing our last few here as we find that flow into our bridge, tricep, and then lower back down. After that last one, arms come back by the side, palms are pressing into the mat as we begin to add some balancing work to our bridge. Find your lift, float one leg into tabletop, lengthen, and then we find a pedal-like motion here. The goal is to keep your hips lifted. Again for 3. Last one is you reach that leg long, draw the heel in, and then we extend, and then reverse. Bend the knee, press the leg out, and lift. And again for 2. And then last 2 here, again, hips stay lifted there. Last one, bring that leg back through tabletop as it lowers down. We keep those hips lifted or a quick rest if you need one, and then we move over to the other leg. Same thing, reach that leg long, draw the heel in, and lift. And for 2. And again for 3. Last one is you really reach through the heel as you lower that leg, draw it in and up, and then reverse, bend your knee, press the leg out, lift, and then again for 2. We have 2 more here. Really keep those palms pressing into the mat to keep you up. We finish our last one, move the leg through tabletop, back down, lower your hips back onto the mat, and then take a nice windshield wiper there as you let the knees go from left to right. We're going to take it into some core work here, some more core work. So let's go ahead and draw those knees in. We're going to lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling. Arms are reaching up as we crunch through center toward the toes for 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to go ahead and crunch to the left side, getting into that twist. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then over to the other side to finish. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Melt back down through center. Take a quick release there as you draw the knees in. We're going to bring it into some crisscross or some bicycle-like crunches. So you're going to rest the weights up against the chest, elbows are wide, as we take it into that opposite elbow to knee twist. So think of bringing the armpits or the rib cage toward the leg as you take your rotation. And then those weights on the chest give us a little more resistance, adding a bit of challenge to the movement. Last ones as we finish, and then we melt down. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and rest those weights down to the side and then flip over onto the front of the body. We'll take it into some extension work here. Grabbing onto your weights, arms are going to be lengthened out in front, legs are melted down behind us, glued in tight and active on the shoelace portions. So we're going to take a big lift on our inhale here, bend those elbows, draw them back, lengthen the arms, and release. On your next one, you lift, sweep the arms to the T, draw them back, and lower. And again for 3, we lift, bend, extend, melt down. Then we inhale, lift, arms sweep to the side, draw them back, and lower. So as you can see, I'm lifting my legs here as I come into my extension. Feel free to just work with the upper body and keep the legs lower down. And then you can also choose to do this without the weights as well and just focus on the arm movements without any added weight. And out to the T. Let's take it through a few more, keeping your flow. And then our last one is we take those arms out to the T and then draw them back. On our next ones, you're going to go ahead and release the weights. Let's just float arms and legs up here as we flutter to finish. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Melt down. Bring the palms by the rib cage. Go ahead and press into your child's pose. And guess what? We are done. We are just going to take it into some stretches now as we cool the body down. So after you get that nice release, go ahead and press yourself up. We are on all fours as we go into our cat-cow. Exhale as you round. Inhale, tilt the tailbone up to the sky. And again for 2. Finding that nice release. Let's take it through 2 more. Exhale, chin to chest. And then inhale as you take it into that tilt. And then from there, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into your downward facing dog, holding it here as you press back through the heels, and then maybe adding a twist opposite arm to ankle as you get a nice rotation there. Feel free to just hold your stretch through center if that feels better. Rotating to the other side. And then as we press back on the heels, walk those palms in towards center, round yourself up to standing. We're going to bring ourselves into center, big lift of the arms. Let's take it into another lateral stretch there as we fold. Again, maybe tugging on the wrist as we did in the beginning. Sweep the arms down, and then we take it over to the other side as we lift and stretch. And then from there, we're going to take it into a nice shoulder release as we pull one arm in front of the chest, making sure that shoulder stays down. Release and switch over to the other side. And let's go ahead and grab onto the shoelace portion of one foot, finding a nice release for the quads, keeping your balance, arm out to the side, maybe looking at one point in front of you, staying up tall. And then, of course, holding on to a wall or chair for balance. And then let's release that leg, cross it in front for a nice glute stretch as we bend into a seated position, staying very steady, and again, using something for balance if that helps. We come out of that stretch, release the leg, and let's take it over to the other side, finding that quad release to get us started, staying lifted tall. And then from there, let's go ahead and gently release that leg, bringing it out in front as we take that press as we sit back, getting into that piriformis stretch. And let's bring ourselves out of that as we come back up to standing. And then you just find yourself in your parallel stance, big arm circles as we sweep the arms forward and then take them around and back. And then let's go ahead and reverse for 3. Again for 2, inhale, lift and release. Last one. And then from there, take a nice big inhale as you press onto the toes, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale as you lower down. One more big stretch as you find length all throughout the body. Lift those arms, lower the heels and arms, and then we are done. Great work. Thank you all for joining me, and be sure to subscribe. Y'all have a good one.